Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Yost. This is Dr. Will Taegel. And on this video we want to talk about a course that has been developing and we're developing further at Wisdom University called Sacred Leadership. Last year in 2010 here in Texas Hill Country we gave a course called Sacred Leadership: Building Resilient Community. This was the first class in what we know will be a series of classes in Wisdom University. And we explored many aspects of leadership in that class. We had some very interesting speakers. We looked at issues around sustainability and how that fits into being a leader in your community. And this year we're moving into a course called Sacred Leadership: The Wisdom Factor. And Dr. Will is going to talk about that a little bit.
Well, that grew out of several beginning points. Last year in Europe, when Jim Garrison was in the Netherlands, some of the leaders in the business community and other organizations were talking about the fact that current leadership models were not really working across the planet. And Jim trotted out some of the preliminary ideas that we have about sacred leadership at Wisdom University, and they were quite excited. So when Jim returned, he and I began to heartstorm and put our brainstorming together, and we came up with this form called the Wisdom Factor Leadership. So we're going to be building a model here in this intensive, co-creating a model, and leaders from all around the world, or people who are interested in sacred leadership, will be with us. And last year we had one of the largest intensives in Wisdom University. So people who will be attracted to this are not necessarily going to get a leadership map, a product that we could go out and teach to other people right away. We're using these intensives to build a model and to create a model and learn how to be with ourselves with the notion of leadership, rather than we're going to come up with the U theory or the character building theory of Stephen Covey or something like that. We're transcending but including those models into an area that we don't know exactly where it's going.
But we do know that the word sacred is important as we begin to develop these ideas. And how do we differentiate between sacred leadership and organizational development, for example? That could be a sacred practice or it might not be. And that is really the important aspect of what we want to explore is what is the sacred underpinning? What is the sacred earth telling us about leadership? What are we feeling about community and leadership? What are we thinking about a more feminine model of leadership that has more to do with cooperation and with a sense of community, a sense of equality? So all of these things we're looking at informing us in what we mean by a sacred map of leadership. We don't have the answers at this time, but we have a lot of questions, and we're just going to move into those questions in this class. Following this class, just the very next week, we're moving into a pilgrimage to the pyramids at Teotihuacan in Mexico. And this will be really on the heels of the Sacred Leadership course, looking at how these ancient traditions and this ancient geological, anthropological, archaeological community, civilization can inform us about their sacred practice of leadership. I think that's going to be a very exciting combination to have these two classes, one here in Texas, kind of in the modern world, and then moving into the ancient world, the primordial world, to discuss and discover some of these ideas.
Right, and we'll have Jim Hickman from Bolivia who will be with us. Jim Garrison will probably be with us, and Heather Ashamara will be with us from the Toltec community. and we have some leaders from Australia who are talking about being here, and from Europe who are also talking about being here. So this is going to be, each year in Wisdom University, a gathering place that focuses on creating leadership to take us through the whitewater of history, and also creating communities which themselves become leaders, so that it's not individuals, but we're seeing that the community becomes the medium of leadership that carries through in the world that we're looking toward. So we hope you'll join us, because this is going to be quite a creative event.
Yeah.
And really, I think this is where some of the central creativity of our planet is emerging.
Thank you.